Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to disassemble and mod the Keychron K6. To begin, turn off the keyboard and remove the 4 screws on either side of it using the aluminum variant. If not, you can skip this. Next we need to remove the screws holding in the PCB. Keychron has done a very good job at hiding these as I found them quite hard to find. But don't worry, I've saved you the hassle of finding all of them. There's a picture on screen outlining where they all are. Once all the screws are removed, the PCB should come out. I ended up having to use my pry tool, but it wasn't that hard. Make sure to take out the PCB gently since there is a power cable you need to disconnect. To unplug the connector, it's a little tricky, but it's not too hard if you have a prying tool or something similar. You can now set the PCB aside. Next we're going to install the case foam. I'll be using the foam that was included in the box. Cut the foam, put the case on top of the foam, and then use a pen to outline the perimeter. You can now cut out the foam. For the foam to fit, we need to cut out a slot for the battery cable to go through. To make this slot, place the case foam in the case and feel where the wire is, and mark or pinch the foam in that spot. Now that you know where to make the slit, use scissors or a knife to cut a small opening for the cable. You can now put the foam in the case and trim the foam if necessary. Before we're done with the case, we need to make another slot around the I/O. Use a pen to mark either side of the I/O. Next, cut out the section and test fit the foam, making sure that all the ports and switches are free from foam interference. After you've confirmed its fit, you can push the standoffs through the foam by applying pressure on either side of the standoff. I'll be using another smaller piece of foam in my board, but I wouldn't recommend it as it's very tight. Next we're going to be taping the PCB. This is also known as the temps mod. All you need to do is use masking tape and tape 2 to 3 layers of tape on the back of the PCB. Once the PCB is fully covered, you'll have to make cutouts for the battery connector and other I/O. This can be done easily with a knife or scissors. This step isn't necessary, but will make the next step much easier. Use a needle to poke pre-made holes in the tape where the screws go. We can now reassemble the board. Begin with plugging in the battery. Once the battery is plugged in, you can place the PCB in the case, but make sure to line up the switches with the switch covers in the case, otherwise they will break. I found it easiest to line up when the PCB switches and the case switch covers were both to the rightmost position. Now that everything's lined up, apply firm pressure to the PCB until the standoffs break through the tape. We can now put the screws back in. Make sure not to make these too tight as they do strip quite easily. Finally, we can put the rails back on. While tightening the screws on the side rails, make sure to go slow as these screws do strip very easily. As you can see here, I stripped this screw myself. I shouldn't have been able to tighten it for that long to then have the screw fall out. You now have a modded Keychron K6. If you wanted to do any additional mods, you could swap out the switches, which would help make the board sound much better, as Teardown reds and browns don't have a very nice sound stage. Thanks for watching. Like if this was helpful, dislike and comment if it needs improvement. I'll see you in the next one.